Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second and final day of the PIAA Girls 3A Swimming and Diving Championships. And we started all off today with the Girls 3A Diving Championships. Along with Jim Christ, I'm Dan Mowdy. Thank you for joining us today for PCN's live coverage of a very big event in the hearts and minds of so many people throughout the state of Pennsylvania. Jim, we've seen some excellent dives here in the preliminary rounds. We are 5 rounds in, heading into the next round of dives.
Yes, these girls are so competitive. They are so bunched together. Anyone can break out here and win this championship or be on the podium today. We're seeing a lot of really good dives from the AAA girls.
Let's take a look at some of the preliminary dives. Leading off, Ashley Filitsky of Seneca Valley.
Yeah, Ashley's just as a 1.5 pike position. There's a double in pike position. That pike gives her a little extra degree of difficulty. There's a full twister, 1 somersault.
Fantastic dives there. We do have a defending champion in the midst, Christina Shee of Northern Allegheny, and she is off to kind of a tentative start, to be quite honest, but seems to be picking up speed as the meet goes on.
Yeah, she's champion of the Whippeals, Christina Shee. We've got several dives here. There's her back and a half in pike position. She started off with her optional or voluntary dives and is wrapping up with her optional dives. Here we go with her 2.5 in tuck position.
Not bad. Avery Hillier, also one to watch today from Conestoga, continuing to stay right there in the top 8, in line for a medal perhaps.
Well, Hillier right now has surged to first place. She's going to do a 1.5 double twister here, I believe. There we go. Twist, twist, twist. That is exactly what she did. She's been diving quite well today. We also don't have some footage, but Gabby Filzen is also in the hunt today.
Yes.
Right at the top.
A great day for the up-and-comers, as it seemed like the ones that you kind of expected to do well today have had a kind of a difficult start. We'll see how it all shakes out as round 6 is right around the corner of our 11-round meet for girls in the 3A PIAA Diving State Championship. Stay with us live on PCN. And you're back with us here live on PCN as we head into the semifinal round of the PIAA Girls 3A Diving Championship. After 5 dives, here are your leaders. Avery Hillier in first for Conestoga with a 188.1 score. Christina Shee, the defending champion from North Allegheny, a 184.85 for second. Gabby Filzen has a 183 for third. In fourth place is Ashley Filitsky. Fifth place, Lola Malarkey. Sixth place, Grace Gallagher. Seventh place, Hannah Pulaski. And in eighth place, Keller Pooley. If it was a 5-round meet, those would be your medalists. Here we go with the defending champ from North Allegheny.
And Christina Shee just did a back dive in pike position. In this round, Dan, we have one more complex optional dive, and we have 2 voluntary dives, a simple low DD dive. She has beautiful form on this dive. It's only a 1.6 degree of difficulty, but she picks up 36 points on the dive.
Excellent effort there.
Sophia, dive 201B, back dive, pike, 1-6.
From Red Lion, Sophia Breschke. She has been as high as 9th place after the second dive. Here she is now with a back pike 1.6 difficulty dive.
Same dive we just saw from Christina Shee. And in fact, I'm looking at the dive list for this round of dives, round 6. We do 3 dives here, round 6, 7, and 8. Most all of these girls have opted to do a voluntary dive. So we're going to see a bunch of low DD stuff coming out of the chute here at the beginning of the semifinal round.
Grace, dive 103.
Picks up 28 points on that dive.
And Jim, it seems to be that that's a trend. At least I noticed that with the boys 3A championships yesterday, that when a new round begins, they seem to, most divers go with an easy difficulty.
And that lets them get warmed up to the more difficult dive. I mean, you do a 1.5 somersault, it's an easy dive, and then the next dive later you do a 2.5 somersault.
Grace Gallagher of Conestoga with a forward 1.5 pike, 1.7 difficulty there.
Now she gets a nice score here. She picked up 35 points on that. For these voluntary dives, if they're getting in the mid-30s to the upper 30s, those are pretty good scores for these DDs that are under 2.0.
Coming up is Madeline Wojcinski from Wilson.
202A, back somersault, straight, 1-7.
She made it into the top 20 here, as high as 17th after her first dive, and this will be a 1.7 difficulty on the back somersault straight position.
A nice takeoff, nice straight body position by Maddie. Very good dive, picks up 28 points. Again, very low DD, 1.7. So that DD sure doesn't help them if they're trying to get big points, but they've got to do voluntary dives. That's how the 11 dive meet is set up.
Now on board, Gabby Filzen, a back pike 1.6. We talked about her earlier.
She has beautiful form. Currently in 3rd place. That little 1.6 degree of difficulty back dive pike picks her up 35 points. So that's really a strong showing for Gabby. She should be happy with that.
Coming up, Easton's Rachel Marcus. She started off 11th place after the first dive and went to 12th after the 5th.
Well, I like that dive, that reverse dive. She got up and around. Good height, nice pike formation. Beautiful toes pointed, picks up 32 points.
Ashley Filitsky, someone else we talked about in the open from Seneca Valley, as high as first after 2 dives, has held 4th place the last 3 rounds. 1.7 reverse pike again.
Same dive we just saw. Ashley had some superior height on this dive. She really got pretty high. Toward the end, she had a little bit of a spillover. Nonetheless, a strong dive for her. 30 points was her score on that dive.
Reagan Santoro of Wissahickon High School on board. Was 12th after 4 dives, currently 13th heading into this one. A back tuck, 1.5 difficulty.
Gets off the board, does a nice quick tuck, touch your knees, get in the water. Very low DD at 1.5, so even a nice dive like this only captures 24 points for Reagan.
Karen Creelman, ready to have at it. She is from Governor Mifflin. 19th makes the cut. And that was a reverse pike 1.7. A lot of those.
Scores.
Here in round 6.
28 points for Karen on that. Saw she went out a bit much and didn't quite straighten up before she got contact with the water there.
It's a pretty good point of comparison. Another back pike here, 1.6 for Lola Malarkey of North Allegheny.
Lola, one of the 2 North Allegheny girls we're seeing in this competition, the other one being Christina Shee that we've already seen. Excellent diving program at that North Allegheny High School. Picks up 32 points, and look at how great her height was on this dive. Nice job, Lola.
And she broke into the top 8 for medal contention after 4 dives. Entered this dive in 5th place after 5. Here's Avery Taylor of Souderton, a reverse pike, 1.7.
Very solid dive for Avery. I like her body position. She really held nicely in that pike. Picks up 30 points on the dive. Let's take a look again. Toes pointed, very nice. We like to see that. Good job for Avery.
Jim, I've never seen a meet this close for medal contention. 12 divers so far have been inside the top 8 in the early going.
Yeah, they're really packed together. This AAA girl crop of divers they're all very good divers.
Absolutely. That was Kira Allison, another good one from North Penn, a forward 1.5 pike, 1.7.
So what will happen to break people out here is we'll have a few that will be doing some spectacular dives, and I'm not trying to put the hex on anyone, but you know, if someone miffs just one dive, they're going to drop out of that pool.
It's a tough one. Yeah, very close. Avery Hillier's score, 33.15. That was Allison's, Kira Allison's score. Here's Hillier now with a 1.6 back pike.
Scores.
So Avery, one of the top divers today, and okay, little 1.6 degree of difficulty. Look at that beautiful dive, and she gets 37 points on that dive. So that is why she is up at the top.
And here is Lindy Peters. She's going after a back somersault with a twist, free position 1.9.
One summy, one twist. Does the dive.
Scores.
Peters from Williamsport.
If she's from Williamsport, she must be a millionaire.
Addison, dive 403C, inward 1.5, tuck.
Well, for the first 4 rounds of diving, Addison Burnett of Upper St. Clair was in the top 6. She dropped down to 10th. Here she is now with an inward 1.5 somersault, tuck position 2.2.
Well, she gets the height, she gets her somersault, a nice tuck, doesn't pull out of that dive when she wanted to. Picks her up at 29 points, many of the scores coming in 4.5 or lower.
Starting with Addison and going with the next 3 divers after her. These young ladies have been in the top 8 more times than they have been out of it. So really solid block of 4 divers here. Liberty's Keller Pooley now looking at a back 1.5 tuck position 2.0.
Yeah, we saw some very nice stuff in the prelims from Keller. And that was a pretty good dive. Could have come around a little more on her somersault. Her back 1.5 is going to get her 31 points.
Hannah Hannah, dive 201C, back dive, tuck 1.5.
Hannah Pulaski was only out of the top 8 once. That was in the after the 4th dive. She dropped to 9th. She's from Greater Latrobe, and here she's looking at a back tuck 1.5.
Scores.
Only 26 on that for Hannah.
Cassidy.
That won't phase her. This is a girl with a lot of confidence. I was speaking with her in the warm-ups. And she's got that necklace on, that H necklace. She was a big fan of Annie in that Canadian comedy Something Creek.
The District 1 champ from Pennsbury, Cassidy Georgievich, with an inward pike 1.5.
Oh, and what gorgeous form she has when she does her pike.
Scores.
We're just seeing just great body position. Picks up 30 points on the dive. Let's take another look at that. Look at those legs. Look at those toes. That's exactly how you want to see it.
Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, but the ladies seem to move a little bit quicker through their rounds. We have Ava Keller of Ridley now with an inward pike 1.5.
Yeah, these are high school girls. They're on a mission.
They sure are.
Okay, a beautiful dive by Ava. Low DD, 1.5. So you know my spiel. She has to do a superior dive to even get 30 points, and she did. She picks up 30 points on it, so she should be very happy with that for that simple little inward dive pike position.
Safia El-Chiati coming up for Wilson. El-Chiati, pardon me, and this will be a back straight 1.7.
2 Wilson divers at this competition. They're very good teammates. They enjoy diving with each other. And speaks strongly of the Wilson program to have 2 divers make it here. Plain old back. Dive, layout position. Nice job by Safiata.
And she rounds out the 6th round of diving.
It's 30 points there.
Reverse dive pike.
We'll give you the current standings here in just a bit as they appear.
Well, we've got Christina Shee popping up. She's going to do a reverse dive in pike position. Again, getting her 2 voluntary dives knocked off, and then the 3rd dive is going to be one of her optional dives in this round, the semifinal round of 3 dives. Christina, of course, does a good job on the voluntary dive and picks up 35 points. So that's one of the best voluntary dive scores that we've seen here. And look at the superior height she had when she did that dive. Of course, walking back, no smile yet. Here we come from Sofia. She's going to be doing a reverse dive, except this one will be in tuck position. So tuck, she's just going to go up and grab her knees, go into the water, straight drop to the water. So the judges should like that. Scores coming in a little under 30, 28 points for her. Here it is on the replay. A good dive, nice vertical dive. Again, low DD at 1.6.
Grace Gallagher has been in the single digits coming into this dive, or let's say coming into this round in 6th place. And this one will be an inward pike 1.5.
A little bit of a hop for Miss Grace. You can see that from the side, I'm sure. Those feet need to be on the board, Dan. That's when they leave the board prior to their takeoff, which we will see here. That's called a crow hop. The judges will deduct anywhere from 1/2 to 2 points for that, depending on the severity or the height of such a hop.
Madeline having at it. Wilczynski with a reverse single tuck 1.6.
Only 24 points for Maddie here. Again, low DD, 1.6. One of our 2 Wilson divers.
Gabby Filzen, the senior from Perkiomen Valley, top 3 more times than not in this meet. Nails the 1.7 reverse pike.
Yes, and you can see why. She gets a good hurdle off that board. It all starts with the hurdle. Her height was really nice. Her pike, her body position's just absolutely gorgeous here. Look at those legs and toes, straight and pointed. 38 points. So she's got to be happy with that one.
Rachel Marcus of Easton High School challenging herself here with a 2.1 reverse 1.5 somersault tuck position.
Well, oh well. From up here, took a little breath of air. I thought she was getting somewhat close to that board, the reverse and a half. They don't see where they're going backwards, and then she flops down a little bit over, and the judges, of course, scored that appropriately. She only picks up 22 points because of her over somersaulting.
Seneca Valley's Ashley Felitsky was fourth after rounds 3, 4, and 5. A 2.1 difficulty here on the back 1.5 with a half twist.
Ashley's diving nicely today. Seneca Valley, they've got their hands full coaching divers out here. There's 5 divers from Seneca Valley. Now, 4 of them were boys, so they dove yesterday. Ashley's the only girl in the meet today. Very nice dive. Picks up 38 points on that dive. Next up, Bregan Santoro. She'll be doing a reverse dive. We've seen several of these. She'll do this one in tuck position.
1.6 the difficulty here.
And a good dive by Reagan. Picks up 24 points. And that low DD doesn't help.
One twist, free position, 1-9.
Karen Creelman coming up. This is a young lady from Governor Mifflin. 12th in order with a forward single with a twist. Free position, 1.9 the difficulty.
Yep, one summy, one twist, gets up, twist, summies, goes in the water. This is a very tall diver.
Lola, dive 301B, reverse dive height, 1-7.
There it is again. 32 points for her. Here's Lola from North Allegheny. Lola, one of the 2 divers here. On her reverse dive, pike position. 28 points for Lola. Teammate of Christina Shee. Brian Wright and Patty McClure, the 2 diving coaches at North Allegheny High School that consistently turn out top-notch divers both in Western Pennsylvania and at the PIAA competition.
Avery Taylor, Souderton, back 1.5, tuck position 2.0.
Nice dive by Avery. Souderton, very strong diving program there. Avery does a good job on her back and a half. Grabs 32 points. Nice, tight somersault. Knees together the way that's supposed to be according to the rule book.
Kira Allison with a pretty steady progression for a diving powerhouse known as North Penn out of District 1. 18th at the start, then 12th the next 2 rounds. Worked your way into the medals contention area with 7th and 9th positions. That was a reverse pike, 1.7.
That's her first time here, coached by that very legendary coach at North Penn, Kyle Goldbacher. Kyle has sent girls and boys to this PIAA competition for years. Outstanding diving program.
Here comes Avery Hillier, who really setting the bar high here. 5th after 1, 4th after 2 rounds, 1st place the next 3. This will be a 1.7 reverse pike.
Beautiful dive by Avery. Beautiful. I like her height. I like her body position. Picks 40 points up. Look at the height, Dan. She got up to the gallery here. I think she turned over and looked at us when she was doing the dive. She was so high.
Lindy Peters, Williamsport.
Well, one somersault out of that reverse takeoff. Tuck position for Lindy. Good dive for her. Scores putting her at 25, so not the greatest total award. Again, a low DD of 1.6. Makes it a challenge to get some High Point Awards.
Addison Burnett of Upper St. Clair consistently in the top 6 there, as we mentioned in the first 4 rounds, dropped down to 10th after that. Here she is with a big challenge, a 2.1. Back 1.5 somersault with a half twist, free position.
1.5, half twist. She's a junior at Upper St. Clair. Hopes to study pre-law when she graduates. Looking to get out of those cold Pittsburgh winters by going down south to either Miami, Florida, or Chapel Hill in North Carolina. There, let's look at this dive again. Around a little short and coming out of the somersault portion of that dive. Picks up 30 points on it.
Keller Pooley of Liberty High School out of District 11. Right around the top 8 here. At about the halfway point of the meet. A back 1.5 somersault, a half twist, free position, 2.1.
Well, a dive that Keller, again, could have finished a little better. She's a little short on the dive, and you'll see she doesn't come out of the somersault portion of her dive. Here we go. Once again, get out, still in that somersaulting position, picks up 30 points on the dive.
Anna Pulaski, Greater Latrobe. She's a returner here. And only the top 8 made it to states last year because of the pandemic.
Trish Brunel, her coach from Lady Greater Latrobe, Anna the junior. She was a gymnast. Now she's a diver.
Showed it on that 2.3 back 1.5 pike.
Picks up 30 points, 29 points.
1.5 twist, free, 2-3.
Another tough one here, 2.3 for Cassidy Georgievich. It's going to be a back somersault with 1.5 twists, free position.
A nice tricky dive, 1 somersault, but she's got to do 1.5 twists to get all the way around looking at the scoreboard end of the pool. She does a pretty good job of that dive, Dan. She got around and kind of a little off tilter going into the water. Let's see it again here. Picks up 32 points, though.
Not bad for the district champ from Pennsbury. From Ridley, Ava Keller.
The exact same dive.
The setup looks so crucial here, Jim.
Oh, absolutely. These on the back dive where she needs to get height and to do the 1.5 twists. She needs to get that height to make this dive work. She does a pretty good job also. Both these young ladies got a good dive out of the back. 1 somersault, 1.5 twister.
Sofia El Chiati coming up next for Wilson.
Yeah, Ava picked up a few more points, 35 points on the dive. And here's Sofia, who wraps up the round number 7, the second of 3 dives we're seeing in the semifinal round. She'll be doing a back 1.5 pike position. She's the senior. She's headed to Lafayette College. And this back 1.5 in pike position, her coach told me this is her big money dive. So let's see if she's going to grab some points on this one.
2.3 is the degree of difficulty here.
I'd say she did a pretty respectable dive on the back 1.5. Good pike. Got around on the somersault. Here we see it again. And she does pick up 34 points on the dive. So good, strong performance from Sofia. Last round coming up in the semifinals. Our leader, generally, Christina Shee, although right now we don't have the rankings on our screen, but she's doing a back 1.5 in pike position. Now in the back 1.5, she did it in pike. Pike hits her a little edge on the degree of difficulty, an extra 0.2. She picks up 44 points there. That is clearly going to help her in her hunt for the first place. Sofia up next with a reverse dive, reverse somersault. She's doing this in tuck position. Coached by Rusty McCollum. Rusty has a number of divers through the years that make it out to this PIAA meet. But here's the interesting thing about this young lady, Dan. She started diving 6 weeks ago.
No way. And qualified for states. How about that?
Yeah, and she's here showing us her good stuff. So what an incredible young lady. Fun fact number 2, her school doesn't have a diving board.
No way.
Yeah, way. So she has to travel
2-2.
to do her practicing. So kudos for her.
Yes, representing Red Lion proudly. Conestoga's Grace Gallagher now.
Inward 1.5 in tuck position from Grace. Little hop there. Please don't do that, Grace.
Scores.
2.2 the difficulty there.
Awards coming in. From the judges, 35 points.
Maddie, dive 51-22.
Pretty decent knee position
Somersault, 1 twist, free.
on her 1.5 somersault.
Madeline Wilczynski, Wilson High School.
Flipping a twist.
1.9 the difficulty on this one.
Flip, twist, around. Ooh, Maddie, I need to look at that going in the water again. From up here, it looked like she wasn't quite twisted properly, but some of the judges really picked up on that. They're only going to grab 20 points on this one. Here we can see it again as she goes in. Not really, she's over twisted from where she wanted to be. Judges spotted that. The 5 judges down on the deck. There's 5 of them. They throw out the high score and low score, keep the 3 middle scores. They add those scores together, multiply that by the degree of difficulty for the dive, and that gives the total dive point award. Here we have another back and a half.
Well, if Gabby Filson does well from Perkiomen Valley, as you just saw her dive,
Yeah,
she'll
she
have
did
her
this.
mom. She'll have her mom to thank. Her mom brought her special towels here just in the nick of time today.
The special towel does it, huh? Well, she picked up 48 points, so she's got herself to thank also. That was a heck of a dive.
Absolutely. Here comes Easton's Rachel Marcus. 1.7 forward, 1.5 somersault, pike position.
Standard voluntary dive. Every diver in the list has this dive on their list. She does a beautiful job of it.
Jim, we have a great vantage point from up here. Does the dive end for the judges, though, when the feet disappear under the water or the head or the hands?
Well, you judge your twisting when you first contact the water. You're looking at the position of the torso, the shoulders, when either the hands touch first or the feet touch first, to see on the rotation. And you watch her entry to the water to continue judging how the dive award is going to be.
Filitsky, Ashley of Seneca Valley, one of our top leaders here. And now making way for Wissa Hickens, Reagan Santoro with the reverse 1.5 tuck position, 2.1.
Here goes Reagan. Back or reverse and a half. This dive, the reverse and a half, 303C, tuck position. I've asked divers, if you could only cut one dive from your list, which dive would you get rid of? This dive always wins. The reverse and a half in tuck position is a challenging dive. She picks up 30 points on that dive. Here it is again, good somersaulting.
Happy faces all around there. Karen Creelman now for Governor Mifflin with a 1.6 inward somersault tuck position.
A good dive by Karen. Last voluntary dive for her in this round. And this young lady wasn't supposed to be diving here. She just learned 2 days ago that she's going to come out to this meet. Her coach, Angela Dennis, grabbed her and put her in the pool on the diving board, and she's had a couple days of practice, and that is it. There's our North Allegheny diver, Lola Malarkey, in her back and a half in pike position. Again, because it's pike, she gets an extra little boost in the degree of difficulty. Still that somersault went over a little bit, a little splashy there, but picks up 37 points, so she's going to like the 37 points for sure. A little bit of hold up down there on the deck before the announcer. There she goes. Now the announcer's bringing up Avery.
Avery Taylor of Souderton. This will be a forward single free position 1.9.
Full flip, full twist, flip and a twist. Gets around nicely. It's vertical before she gets to water. Should get nice scores on that one for Avery.
Kira, dive 303.
Indeed, she picks up 31 points.
1 1/2.
Kira Allison, one of those right there in the close to the top 8 for North Penn. Let's see what she can do here with a 2.1 reverse 1.5 somersault tuck position.
Junior from North Penn, first time here. Good takeoff, good somersault. Scores coming in from those 5 judges. Remember, 5 judges, but we only keep the middle 3.
Avery,
That's in the what we call the deficient category. Scores coming in at 4.5. So just not up to the entire standard the judges are looking for there. Gets 28 points on the dive.
Avery Hillier solid here in the middle rounds from Conestoga. This will be reverse 1.5 tuck position 2.1.
Hillier clearly up at the top of the game. Nice reverse and a half from Avery. Picks up 34 points on that dive. There it is again. Diving referee for this championship was the diving referee yesterday, Sue Runkle. Quite experienced in the diving referee job, also did that at her district meet. The referee oversees the competition, doesn't actually score dives herself. It makes important calls, such as the failed dive call, and we have not seen her make that today, and we hope we don't.
That was Lindy Peters, the unsinkable Lindy Peters from Williamsport, as she was right on the bubble there to make it into the semifinals and continues to progress through the round, doing a nice job out there. Addison Burnett now, Upper St. Clair. This will be a reverse pike 1.7.
Smart girl. This girl has a 4.27 GPA.
Wow.
Scores.
You know, when I was in school, I think the highest you could get is 4.
Yeah.
Wow, they've come a long way.
Nobody was smart back then. You were pretty smart.
Not as smart as her. She has a beautiful dive, picks up 30 points on it. Former gymnast turned diver.
Keller Pooley of Liberty now coming up out of District 11. Her version of the reverse dive, pike 1.7.
Scores.
Looked like she got pretty good height on that one.
Yeah, Liberty, I think they're the Hurricanes, I
Yes.
believe. And she's just
Hannah.
form there, 28 points. It's
1-4.
Hannah Pulaski, Greater Latrobe. And this will be a inward tuck 1.4. Pulaski had one of the highest scores of the season. 446.6 in the WCCA.
well, Hannah has a great takeoff on this dive. Scores 30 points.
Dive 104C.
Good height.
Forward
Good-
double
good
somersault,
tuck.
Tuck 2-2.
And next up we have Cassidy Georgievich. Georgievich out of Pennsbury. This will be a forward double somersault tuck position 2.2.
2 somersaults. A little slow in getting out of that, but she does indeed get out of it. 31 points for
Dive 202A,
Cassidy.
back somersault
You see
straight.
it again. Nice knee position. Just didn't quite get out of her somersault quick enough.
Ava Keller of Ridley taking on a 1.7 back somersault straight position.
Maybe the sophomore. Nice little flip.
Scores.
Picks up 30 points on a
Sophia.
voluntary dive.
Dive 301A.
Coming up on the very last dive in this semifinal round.
Sophia El Chiati, Wilson High School. A 1.8 difficulty on this reverse straight.
A voluntary dive. Well, she did a nice job at it, and when I saw her go in from my angle up here, I thought her legs were a little bit twisted on that entry. We'll see what the judges see. Now they're down there. You see that little twisty there. Few picked it up because she only got 27 points on that dive.
boards are now open for warm-ups.
Well, Jim, we'll take a quick break here, and we'll be back with our finalists for the final 3 dives of the 2022 PIAA 3A Championships in Girls Diving. Stay with us live on PCN. And you're back with us here as we get the championship finals underway. The finalists, 16 strong, being led by Christina Shi in dive order. Reverse 1.5, half twist free, 2.2 difficulty.
And Christina Shi currently in third place, Dan, so she's going to be chasing that gold medal, and she's going to come out diving. She picks up 45 points on this dive. First dive of 3 dives we're going to see here in the final round.
She with a total of 395 points heading into that dive. Last year, she had 457.5 to win the state championship. So we'll see how she progresses here in the last 3 dives of the day.
Dive 5231D, back 1.5 with a half twist, free, 2-1.
Here we have Grace Gallagher on the board. Grace from Conestoga.
And Grace Gallagher heading into this dive currently in 6th place. This will be a back 1.5, half twist, free, 2.1, as the difficulties seem to be rising in this round.
Well, they will, Dan. We've got 3 dives. 1 dive is going to be the very low DD voluntary dive, but then 2 of the dives, these ladies get to do their optional dives. Springboard diving, they're going to spring off this board and do some tricks in the air for us. And the optional dives are the ones that have the DDs that are rather high, above 2.0 and so forth.
Gabby Filzen is next now for Perkiomen Valley.
5231D, back 1.5.
And Filzen having a pretty good meet so far. Currently the leader with 304.45 points.
Yeah, and there's 2 girls within 5 points of her. So
Wow.
This is a clear race to the finish with 3 girls right at the top. In addition to Gabby and Christina Shi, we already mentioned we've got Avery Hillier. Gabby just did her back dive 1.5 somersault half twister.
Well executed.
33 points for her.
104B, forward
She's got a 2.1 DD on that, degree of difficulty, which is how rigorous the dive is. You multiply the degree of difficulty by the middle 3 judges' scores. We've got 5 judges, throw out the top one, the bottom one, 3 left in the middle, add them up, multiply by the DD for that point award.
Rachel Marcus, a finalist for Easton.
That was a very nice double somersault in pike position by Rachel. Again, one of her optional dives, perhaps. It's hard to tell in this last round, but she picks up 34 points.
Dive 2 of 1B, back dive pike.
Ashley
1-6.
Filitsky, Seneca Valley, coming up. And she is currently in 4th place with a 280.85 score. This will be a back pike 1.6.
Well, the senior at Seneca Valley is having a very good meet, coached by Nancy Slavin and Mike Kakamo. Again, I mentioned they had 5 divers come to PIAA. She's the only girl. Picks up 34 points on her dive.
1 twist, free.
Reagan Santoro, congratulations, making the cut in a tie for 15th place with a 242.3 score for Wissahickon. And she's looking at a forward 1.5 somersault with a twist, free position, 2.2 dive.
Little short on that dive for Reagan. She's tied for 15th place. So, and we talked earlier about how close this competition is, Dan. You can't get any closer than having a tie. 27 points on that dive for Reagan.
Nicely done.
Okay, here we have the other North Allegheny diver, Lola Malarkey.
And Lola Malarkey doing a forward 1.5 somersault, pike position 1.7.
Pike 1.7.
Currently in 5th place for North Allegheny.
She did a nice job at the Whippeal meet. I was a judge at that meet for the Triple E girls. This is a nice dive, a little bit of spillover on her entry. She really has very nice form on her pike and on her somersault. Picks up 32 points.
Dive 2 of 1B, back dive, pike 1.6.
Avery Taylor of Souderton, one of those 2 tied for 15th and making the cut into the championship final round for Souderton. And this one will be a back pike 1.6.
Didn't quite get the vertical she wished she had on that one. We'll see this once again as we take a look at it. But So here she is. Doesn't straighten up into the water. Judges saw that, picked up 26 points on the dive.
Kira Allison, 7th place, right there for a medal. North Penn, this will be a back somersault, 2.5 twist, free position, 2.7. Wow, nicely done from my view.
You're absolutely correct. 2.5 twist, how complex is that? And she gets around. This will be wonderful to watch on the replay. Picks up 39 points. Very complex dive.
1 twist, free, 2-2.
Avery Hillier, right up there with the leaders for most of this day out of Conestoga. 2nd place heading into this round with a 3:01.15 score. This will be a forward 1.5 somersault with a twist. Free position 2.2.
That dive, and you heard me say this yesterday with the boys, I love this dive, a 1.5 somersault full twisting dive. I just think it has everything in it. It's a beautiful dive, and Avery does a beautiful execution. Picks up 41 points on her dive. There you see it again. Just a gorgeous dive by Avery.
Addison Burnett, right there on the bubble. 8th place for USC. Upper St. Clair with a reverse 1.5. Tuck position 2.1.
Well, that particular dive, the back and a half, is a challenging dive, and we talked about that earlier on this particular dive. I saw her do this in the warm-ups. She did a little better job in the warm-ups than I saw her do on this particular dive now. She only picks up 25 points, and she knows it. She knows it. Comes from a diving family, has a little sister that's going to be diving with her next year. You see on the camera, we don't have the shot now, but the 2 girls on the side were talking to her about the dive. These divers are such a collegial bunch. They all train together, they dive together, and they just want everyone to do a good job.
Liberty's Keller Pooley going after Addison Burnett. The difference between 8th and 9th heading into these dives, 0.1. How tight is that for the medals?
Picks up 32 points on that dive. So nice job by Keller.
Anna Pulaski right there too in 11th place with a 259.3 score.
There's that dive I love, the 51.32, the full 1.5 somersault with a full twister. Very confident diver in Hannah Pulaski. Picks up 41 points on that dive, and look at that great execution she has. You saw in the shot there are the 5 diving judges that are working under the auspices of Sue Runkle, diving referee. That's John Kelly, Tracy Eli, Maggie Serino, Eric Feinstein, and Bill Hendry.
Cassidy Georgievich, the senior from Pennsbury, district champion. And a forward 1.5 pike, 1.7 for the young lady who is currently in, let's see what place, 10th place heading into that dive.
A nice pike position, good formation, picks up 30 points on the dive.
Here comes Ava Keller, 12th place for Ridley with a 258 score. Forward pike 1.3.
Oh, the jackknife.
Wow, she really piked.
There we go.
Tight pike.
And she does a nice job. Picks up 26 points. Now, why 26? It's a good dive. She gets nice scores on it. 7's in that mix. That DD is only 1.3 degree of difficulty, so not a very difficult dive.
Sofia Elchiati making the cut for Wilson. Excellent job by her. This will be a reverse 1.5 tuck position, 2.1 difficulty.
Sofia 13th after the semifinal round, trying to move up a little bit. We'll see. Back and a half, tuck position, or excuse me, reverse and a half in tuck position. A nice dive, not a great dive, but gets around, spills over a little bit for a 28-point score on that dive.
2 twists, free, 2-6.
Well, now we've got 2 more rounds of diving, Dan. We've knocked off one of the 3 dives in this 3-dive round of the finals. Here's Christina Shih right out the bat with a double twister. 1.5 somersault, 2 twists on her dive, and she really hits it nicely. Very high DD on this dive of 2.6, so that will help whatever score she gets those judges to award her. Picks up 41.6. Now, a couple of the judges scored at 4.5. They thought she was a little bit under twisted, I bet. That's what I noticed on the replay. The judges don't have the benefit of the replay that I have.
After Grace is back 1.5 with 1.5 twists, free position 2.5.
Okay, she gets around on her 1.5 somersault and her 1.5 twist, threw in a little hop off the diving board, so we'll see what the judges do with that. They're entitled to deduct anywhere from 1/2 to 2 points for that infraction, but she picks up 33 points for Grace.
And heading into this round 10, the second to last, she leads with 387.65. Hillier second, 342.95. Filzen is 50 behind the leader. Felitsky in fourth, Malarkey in fifth, Gallagher in sixth, Allison seventh, Pulaski eighth, and on the bubble, Cooley's ninth place.
Rachel, dive 51.32D. Forward 1.5, 1 twist, free, 2-2.
Oh, another beautiful dive there. Diver from Pukeannon Valley.
Rachel Marcus Easton now with a forward 1.5 somersault, single twist, free position 2.2. Marcus in 12th position heading into this dive.
1.5 somersault, full twisting dive. We're going to see probably every girl today do this dive. She picks up 39 points. That's a pretty high score for this degree of difficulty. Nice job.
Ashley Felitsky, fourth place with a 315 score.
That Seneca Valley diver doing her 1.5 in tuck position. Or excuse me, reverse 1/2. I keep messing that up, tripping over my own tongue. The reverse 1/2 tuck position. I like her somersaulting. Look at this beautiful knee position. Spills over a little bit at the end. Picks up 25 points, and that spillover cost her. Okay, we've got a double somersault coming up here.
Reagan Santoro, 15th place. Wissahickon.
She gets that double somersault in, gets around, and gets out of that somersault. So that's what she was hoping to do. Picks up 31 points. Good knee, good somersault, good pike position from Reagan.
Lola Malarkey, North Allegheny, broke into the top 8 in the 4th round and has continued her rise in the standings. Currently 7th here.
Yes, this young lady's doing surprisingly well. Kind of catching up toward the top as she goes through her dives. And this was just again, we've seen a lot of these dives. The reverse 1.5 somersault. She picks up 33 points on the dive. Very nice job for Lola.
Malarkey in 5th place heading into that one. Excellent job by her. Here comes our next diver, Avery Taylor of Souderton.
Same dive. We're going to see a lot of it. Nice job by Avery. Also, good somersault there.
Nicely done by Avery to join the finalists here.
She gets 35 points, so just a couple more points than we just saw Lola snag on that dive.
Kira Allison of North Penn. This will be a forward double somersault. Pike position 2.3.
So a lot of the people do this in tuck, but it's harder doing it in pike because you get more degree of difficulty doing it in pike, and that's exactly what Kira opted for. Is let's go for the DD. Picks up 40 points, so it served her well.
She was in 7th place heading into that one. Avery Hillier of Conestoga now with a tough one. 2.7 the difficulty on a back somersault. 2.5 twists. Free position.
I can't wait to see this. 2.5 twists. She's going to end up looking at the scoreboard on the other end. She's going to spin around 2.5 times to do it. Spin like a top. There she goes, and she did it.
Nice. What a battle between her and Christina Shih heading down the home stretch.
It's a wonderful competition. Now she picked up 37 points on that dive. You can see just a little over rotation as she was going in. So that wasn't exactly the execution she wanted on the dive.
Addison Burnett now, Upper St. Clair, a back pike 1.6. 11th place is she.
This young lady has tons of personality. I was speaking with her. She was doing her warm-ups, and she actually miffed a few dives in the warm-ups. And she said, yeah, she's just getting them out of the way here. Came up from one, said, did you see that? I said, no, I didn't see that, but she's happy with that one. Picks up 30 points. Big,
nice.
Big hand slap there.
Liberty's Keller Pooley now taking aim at a back straight 1.7. 9th place heading into this round.
Voluntary dive.
Scores.
So just up and down. Nice rigid body position. Picks up 28 points.
Another one in this battle for a medal, trying to make it into the top 8, and currently 8th place heading into this dive. Hannah Pulaski of Greater Latrobe. This will be an inward 1.5 somersault, tuck position, 2.2 the difficulty.
That's a very nice dive by Hannah.
Very nice.
Nice somersault, came out of it really at the right spot. Picks up 39 points. She'll be happy with that one. Look at that beautiful somersaulting position. Great leg position, legs together, toes pointed, big smile. Nice job, Hannah.
Cassidy Georgievich, Pensbury.
Same dive. Nice execution. Did not come around on the somersault as much as we just saw Hannah do. A little slow at getting out of that. We'll see how many points she picks up on it. Picks up 29 points, so 10 fewer points than Hannah picked up on the previous dive.
Here comes the sophomore from Ridley, Ava Keller. This will be a forward somersault, 2 twists, free position 2.3.
There's that double twister. Ooh, complex dive. Had to do the somersault. Get around. A little short in getting around on the twisties. Still picks up 32 points thanks to that 2.3 degree of difficulty.
Safea will knock out this round here. El Chiati from Wilson High School. She'll go with a 1.9 difficulty forward somersault and a twist, free position.
Yep, a little simple flip and a twist. And she does the flip and the twist. Nice job.
She is your leader. Fills it in second. Hillier in third, and less than 7 points separates the top 3 as we head into round 11. You could not ask for a more exciting meet.
No, and now we've got in the final dive they're going to do. Christina Hillier doing an inward dive, 1.5 somersault in pike position for that 2.4 degree of difficulty. Each 3 of these girls, she, Filson, and Hillier, need to really perform on this final dive. This is going to tell what position they get in this overall standing. Okay, a beautiful dive. Little crow hop taking off. Got the good height, got a beautiful body position. I love her pike. It's just a gorgeous pike, and she picks up 40 points in this dive.
Wow. Finishing strong, picking up speed every dive along the way. Conestoga now going with Grace Gallagher's reverse 1.5 somersault, tuck position 2.1. Gallagher currently in 6th place. 341.7 her score going in. She with the top score heading into this round with a 387.66. Fills in second with a 389.5. Hillier in third with a 387.5.
Yeah, and Grace just grabbed 44 points on that beautiful, beautiful reverse and a half dive.
Nice. Gabby Filson in the mix here in third. Or correction, at the turnaround, second place. Now she's going with an inward 1.5 pike, 2.4.
She had great execution on this. If she intends to catch that first place Christina she needs to really get like 48 points here. She got 43, so that is not going to grab the first place for her. Beautiful dive and beautiful execution.
Rachel Marcus in 10th place with a 322. 8th place not out of reach. It's that close, about 17 plus points away. This will be a back somersault, 1.5 twist, free position 2.3.
Back a flip, 1.5 twists. She does it and gets around. Good solid scores on this dive for a total award of 39 points. That will serve her well in the standings.
Ashley Filitsky of Seneca Valley now on board. Filitsky.
Woohoo! She does a 2.5 somersault dive. She does it nicely.
One of the top divers of the day, now kind of fighting to make sure that she goes home with a medal. She entered that dive in 8th position with a 3:44.6 score.
34 points for the senior.
Nice.
Final dive in competition for this year for the senior diver.
Reagan Santoro of Wissahickon now taking the board.
She plans on diving in college, so not the last dive she's going to do, but the last dive in high school.
With a flourish, 2.5 on this back 1.5 with 1.5 twists.
1.5, 1.5 for Reagan. Ooh, kind of got garbled up in the middle of that one, Dan. She just got out of her somersault in time to get to greet the water, and judges scoring that down in the 3 to 4 range, picks up 26 points. The degree of difficulty helps her.
What a charge Lola Malarkey has made today from North Allegheny. 11th after rounds 2 and 3, entering this dive in 4th place for North Allegheny. This is a 2.4 forward, 2.5 somersault tuck.
Okay, so Lola pulls out a high DD dive here. She does the 2.5 somersault, but does not quite come out of her somersault enough to get the point she's going to want to have. And indeed scores down in the deficient zone, picks up 28 points on this dive. So not the strong last dive that Lola wished for. Same dive coming up right here by Avery Taylor.
Young lady from Souderton with a 304.4 score heading into this round.
Wow, now there's another 2.5 somersault, yet Avery barely got out of her tuck position, barely got out of her somersault in that dive. So a lot of dive there, but only picks up 16 points. Look at how slow she is in getting out of that somersault.
North Penn's Kira Allison now. Allison in 5th place after the last round for North Penn. This is with a total of 3:43.76, looking at a 2.2 difficulty here on the forward 1.5 with a twist.
Okay, this should be a pretty straightforward, solid dive for Kira. And it is. Very nice execution. Good execution. 42 points on the dive. Okay, Dan, here's the one person that has a chance of catching Christina Shih, but she needs to really knock this out of the ballpark.
She currently 4.3 points ahead of the next closest competitor, Filzen, who is already gone. How close is that? But it could get a lot closer here.
This double somersault. So she upped the ante here. She's doing it in pike position. So let's watch her pike. Wow. She does it. She gets around on the dive, does a pike, comes out very nicely. Woo. This one's too close to call. Let's see how it's coming in. Yep, picks up 42 points on the dive, so not the point gain she needed to grab that first place. But I'll tell you, the silver medal and bronze medal, they are so tight.
So
excellent diving by these girls. It's so impressive. Here's Addie Burnett, girl from Upper St. Clair, forward 1.5 somersault, full twister.
2.2 difficult.
Yep, wrapping up her diving, but not her diving career in high school. She's only a junior. She'll be back next year. This young lady has a lot of spunk. That broke position, as you can tell going in there, picks up only 26 points. So
1.7 is a difficulty for Keller Pooley's last dive. This will be a reverse single pike, 1.7.
Yep, up and around, pike, in and out.
Scores.
Nice easy dive to finish up her day, as Keller does. 28 points on the dive.
Pooley, with that dive, was before that dive, was in 9th place with a 3:22.36. Pardon me. Here we go now with Hannah Pulaski. Big dive, 2.5. Back 1.5 with 1.5 twists. Free position.
There's a nice finish for Hannah. A little bit of spillover at the end, but she does an incredibly complex dive, the 2.5 DD.
Looking to improve.
Back and a half, full 1.5 twist. Look at her here. Spin complex down in the water. 40 points for her. Nice wrap up to your diving today, Hannah.
She might have moved up too, because she was only a point away from 6th place heading into this round.
We got a 2.5 coming up.
Cassidy Georgievich, 2.4 difficulty.
Okay, a lot of somersaulting there with 2.5 somersaults. Cassidy a little slow at getting out of that somersault. That will cost her. Most of those scores coming in 3.5, 4, 4.5. Picks up 30 points on the dive due to the superior 2.4 degree of difficulty.
And she was in 11th place, about 20 plus points out of 8th place, the last spot for a medal. Here comes Ava Keller Ridley with a mission, 1.7 on the reverse single.
Yep, reverse dive, nice little hike there.